This is SKN Newsline Month in Review. Join us now as we recap the top stories making the news for the month of November 2017. The St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party is seeking more answers from the government regarding the herpes vaccination investigation. At a press conference called by the party last Wednesday, opposition spokesman on health Dr. Terence Drew slammed health authorities for not taking a more aggressive role in the investigations.
The Minister of Health must be removed. And that is why I'm glad that the FDA of the United States has taken up this fight. It is not with us. The FDA is determined to get to the bottom of it because this has not happened since about 50 years, since the Second World War. That is how serious this issue is. If this issue goes unresolved, it's going to set a whole new paradigm in medical research and using humans as subjects without having proper protocols and ethical standards in place. And I would like to say something to wrap up my answer. Is that when the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party is given the chance by the people of this country to lead again, that project will be fully investigated.
Dr. Drew suggested that this vaccination testing could have serious health complications for the country.
So the government, the cabinet has opened up JNF to liable or to be sued and opened up the nurses. But apart from being sued, they open up themselves to diseases. This is plasma. Plasma is a part of blood. It's a blood product. Carries dangerous diseases. No country on this earth allow plasma to pass through. They don't even allow plants to pass through. Can you imagine plasma that will be infused into human beings? So I'm not even suggesting it. I'm saying it because the ministers have said it. There was something very instructive that was said with respect to the herpes. The gentleman, the scientist, died, the principal scientist. But his colleagues said that that gentleman spoke to authorities here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The Ministry of Health earlier this year said it has launched an investigation into what's been described as a herpes vaccination trial in St. Kitts and Nevis. The trial broke United States safety laws, but also potentially put human clinical trial participants at risk. The ministry says it has been brought to its attention that certain clinical tests were being conducted in the Federation with the support of the Southern Illinois University in the United States. The government claimed it was unaware of the trial being done in St. Kitts. The government also said that neither the Ministry of Health, the Office of the Chief Medical Officer, CMO, or the St. Kitts and Nevis Medical Board were approached on this project, nor did they approve such a venture. Former Chief Medical Officer Dr. Patrick Martin was quoted as saying that he was not aware of a herpes vaccine trial during the period mentioned. The experimental herpes testing was said to be conducted between April and August 2016 by biotech company Rational Vaccines. Dr. Martin went on pre-retirement leave in June 2016. Dr. Drew, who is also caretaker for constituency number 8, called for the investigations to be thorough and to be spearheaded by the health ministry and not the police.
What do I expect the police to say? Really? So the country is thinking some big investigation going on when not even the correct people are investigating what should be investigated. And the CMO office is manned by 1 or 2 people. And if it is too small, the CMO has the right to go out and bring in an agency like the FDA to investigate it for us. But they don't want that. That is why they say let the police investigate.
Tripartite Team Unity, led by Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, are ecstatic over a ruling by Justice Perletta Lance in the motion of no confidence case brought by the then opposition challenging the Denzel Douglas-led administration. The Team Unity Coalition had brought the motion challenging the Dr. Douglas government, but that was never heard or tabled in the Parliament, forcing the coalition to move to the court. The verdict on the matter was handed down recently, and according to Dr. Harris, they won on all grounds.
I am advised by the Honorable Attorney General that today the High Court judge, Justice Lance, delivered judgment in what is popularized as the motion of no confidence case. It was a case which we then, as members of the opposition, had brought against the Denzel Douglas administration for its failure to bring before the Parliament the matter to do with the motion of no confidence. I am advised that on all the points that we raise, the High Court found in favor of those of us who brought the case to the court. And so today has been a tremendous verdict.
Dr. Harris noted that this would become an example throughout the entire Caribbean in the ways such motions should be treated by governments.
We had argued that it had to be dealt with dispatch, and we had argued that it was unbecoming of the Douglas administration to have denied the democracy within the Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis by failing to allow the motion to be tabled and to go to an eventual vote. And so we feel a sense of vindication. It is a big day for democracy, St. Kitts and Nevis, and it represents, in my view, a repudiation to the policies of the Douglas administration.
The Prime Minister was asked about the significance of the ruling.
It is significant, and that is a point that we are attempting to make, that this was about democracy, how it should function, and what the court has done by this judgment, as I understand it, is to indicate that never again should a government in St. Kitts and Nevis do what the Douglas administration did in denying the hearing of a motion of no confidence. These judgments set standards for behavior and conduct. They set standards against which other persons with interest in democracy could use as a precedent.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Come to Caribbean Flavors Restaurant and Bar in Charlestown for the best in local cuisine. Have your food prepared on the spot or served in a buffet-style setting with quality customer service. Get your day started right with our variety of homemade breakfasts. Try our sumptuous lunches, wraps, sandwiches, and so much more. Located at the Cotton Ginnery Mall, Charlestown, Nevis, overlooking the Charlestown Bay. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 469-9009 or 763-5452.
Why read the news when you can watch it? Introducing SKN Newsline, the Federation's only online TV news platform. SKN Newsline is an online TV news platform covering news in St. Kitts and Nevis. We provide a daily and accurate news on the big stories and stories of interest that other media outlets have ignored. You can watch SKN Newsline on our website, www.sknnewsline.com, or Facebook page at www.fb.com/SKN Newsline, and also subscribe to our SKN Newsline YouTube channel. SKN Newsline, your world, your news.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
$120 million will be injected in the St. Kitts and Nevis economy with the construction of the new Seaview Gardens Hotel, Villa and Condominium development in Camps. That's according to Minister of Tourism Lindsay Grant at the groundbreaking ceremony of the project on Saturday.
I am advised that the master plan for the project comprises 700 units, which include a mega 350-room hotel, a casino, villas, condominiums, commercial and recreational spaces for other amenities such as restaurants, a spa, and other businesses. This project represents a significant foreign direct investment of approximately $120 million into the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis over the construction phase of the project, which is anticipated to be completed in 2022.
The project is being undertaken by the St. Kitts and Nevis Royal Development Limited, led by Chinese nationals that have businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis and overseas, according to Mr. Grant. The development is approved through the Citizenship by Investment Program, CBI. Mr. Grant said the project will be a game changer in the St. Kitts and Nevis tourism sector and is one that the government is pleased to approve.
The government, through its investment and promotion department, continues to invite investors who have acquired citizenship through our CBI program to further invest in the economy through the establishment of new businesses. The Cabinet is very pleased to have granted approval for this project, designated an approved project under the CBI program. This approval followed a very thorough review process of the CBI project's technical review committee, which falls on the skipper. The CBI project's technical review committee ensures that projects are of the very highest standards and are considered applicable for the grant of the various means by the committee.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris said this development is a reflection of confidence in the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis and the policies of the Team Unity government.
And by this investment materializing in the next couple of months, we are going to see further indicators, positive boosts in the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis. For today, by this simple ceremony, a reflection of confidence in the economy, a reflection of confidence in the policies of the government, a reflection of their commitment to partner with the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis Royal Limited is saying to the world today that they are going to invest at this spot investment well over $120 million.
The tourism minister, Mr. Lindsey Grant, said all the major hotel projects under the CBI program are progressing well in construction, which bodes well for the tourism economy of St. Kitts and Nevis. The Seaview Gardens Hotel, Villa and Condominium development is set to bring 350 rooms to the Federation's hotel stock. Andre Huey, SKN. A single mother of 3 children is in need of urgent help after the house she was living in was ravaged by fire in Challengers Village on Saturday morning. Denise Murray told SK Newsline Tuesday that her 5-year-old son lit a match under her bed while she and her 1-year-old son were asleep on the very same bed.
Me and my mother was in the house, and it's my mom's house, it is. So when I was putting the baby to sleep on the bed, and I ended up just sleeping him on the bed too. So my mother stepped out to go and fix some clothes on the wire. When I smelled the funny smoke and feeling the heat. When I jump up, the roof on fire, the bed on fire. He light the bed from underneath, that little one, my 5-year-old son, he light the bed from underneath when me and the baby was on. So I catch myself by smelling the smoke and feeling the heat. The roof on fire, the bed done halfway on fire. He done run out the house, and I grab the baby and I run outside. And I run calling, Mommy, 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 for the house on fire, the house on fire. I run down by my father's side and I call him. When my father them and my brothers them reach, they said, nothing can do. Call the fire truck people them come say, nothing can do. The house burn well flat down, nothing gets secure.
Currently, Denise is staying by the father of her children in McKnight, but the conditions are less than ideal. Denise said she is currently unemployed and will be willing to work if someone provides her with the opportunity. She has a 7-year-old daughter and 2 sons, one 5 years old and the other just over a year old. The children are in need of clothes and food as well, as she basically lost everything in the fire. She's appealing to the general public for help.
Is there anyone who can help me with anything? I would like the help, and a little help out with me mother to get back a house. Because it was really bad she was staying.
Meanwhile, Officer Loston Percival brought the lady's plight to public attention after he sent out a WhatsApp voice note to fellow police officers appealing for help. That voice note went viral, and since then, members of the public have been donating.
I know the children from me going to school, so I met her at an establishment on Saturday night, and she approached me as normal, the child, and she told me exactly what had happened, and right away I know that I was supposed to do something to help them. Right, so I sent a message out in the police chat that we have, the community policing chat, and to let the officers know that we have something very important to do and I would need the help. And one of the officers sent it out to somebody else and got out there in the public, and ever since the public has been calling to donate stuff, and I must say they are still carrying people out there because the amount of stuff that we have gotten and we are still getting. So I want to thank persons who have come and help us so that we can help Miss Murray and the two little ones, and we are still accepting help for them. There's a little 1 year and 2 months. Yes. There's a little child there, and we are looking for food stuff, bottles, clothes for them. We're also looking for school clothes for the two children. One is 5 years, that's the boy, and the girl is 8 years. So anything that you can help us to give them, we'll appreciate it very much. You can contact myself at 668-0856 or 763-1474. Or what you can probably do to make things easier, take them to any one of the police stations in the Federation and just let them know it's for Officer Percival, for the fire victim, and then they could always contact me and get them to me.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long, but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Far more women in St. Kitts and Nevis are living with diabetes than men, so disclosed State Minister of Health Wendy Phipps during a session of the National Assembly on Tuesday.
Now, we find it in the Ministry of Health rather timely that the International Federation for Diabetes would take into consideration the impact this year on diabetes as it relates to women's health. Globally, the estimate is telling us that over 200 million females are living with diabetes. But let's bring it home closer to us here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We are at our 17 health centers. We are now recording, based on our diabetic registers, that there are 1,313 diabetics within our public health system. More concentrated is the statistic when you look at it in the context of 934 of those 1,313 persons being females and 379 being males.
Ms. Phipps said there are over 1,300 people in the Federation with diabetes, but there could be more people in the Federation with the disease, considering that a large portion of the population is still not doing basic medical checks on a regular basis.
Moreover, the data is also showing us that of that figure, 603 female diabetics are in St. Kitts and 230 males. On our sister island of Nevis, there are 331 female diabetics and 149 males. In essence, what this does is to paint a clear picture that far more women in our federation are now having to live with diabetes than men, since of the total registered number of diabetics in our public health system, some 71.1% of them are women. And this is of major concern for the Ministry of Health, by extension, the federal government, when you take into account that, by extension, 50% of our households are headed by single females, especially single mothers. And it is such that it is forcing us to consider that at some point, diabetes is going to affect us negatively as it relates to families and women's participation in the world of work.
The minister commended the St. Kitts and Nevis Diabetes Foundation for its work in bringing awareness to the public on diabetes.
The Ministry of Health congratulates the St. Kitts Diabetes Association in what they continue to do every year in terms of health promotion and education. And this year in particular, there's no exception in terms of their scheduled activities, which began on Sunday with the service at St. George's Anglican Church. Today, they are continuing with school talks in all of the secondary schools. And then, of course, on Thursday, there's a diabetes screening at the William Connor Primary School. On Friday, we will conduct public screenings, health screenings at the Independence Square, jointly with the Ministry of Health and representatives of the Diabetes Association. And then on Saturday, there is the usual walk for diabetes beginning at 5:30 a.m. at the War Memorial. And I think that walk goes as far as the Central Bank and then back to the War Memorial.
Henika Watkins Porto,
Opposition
SKN
leader Dr.
Newsline.
Denzel Douglas has slammed the Speaker of the House, Michael Perkins, for what he described as the Parliament being used for political grandstanding. In a press statement from the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, the opposition leader criticized the Speaker of the House for reading a letter from the Leader of Government Business, Eugene Hamilton, questioning the eligibility of Dr. Douglas to sit in the National Assembly for possessing a diplomatic passport. Dr. Douglas is of the view that the Speaker was being used for a political ploy in the National Assembly, and that this was unbecoming of the House of Assembly. On Tuesday, during the National Assembly meeting, government MPs raised concern about the eligibility of Dr. Douglas to remain a member of Parliament because he possesses a diplomatic passport for Dominica. Dr. Douglas has never admitted or denied he has such a passport, but posited that even if he did, he was not in violation of the Constitution to remain a member of Parliament. Attorney General Vincent Byron has indicated the government's intention to take the matter to court for a resolution.
And so, Mr. Speaker, I would want to bring it to the attention of this Honourable House that the Attorney General has initiated instructions to Senior Counsel to begin proceedings in this matter to determine whether the member for number 6 should vacate his seat or not. Thank you. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
A release from the Labour Party Tuesday said Dr. Douglas, who was absent from the meeting, was away on a previously scheduled trip and could not attend. The Speaker of the House, Michael Perkins, affirmed in Parliament Tuesday that he got notification from Dr. Douglas 15 minutes before the start of the meeting that he would be absent. The release from the Labour Party suggested that the National Assembly was hastily called so as to create the impression that Dr. Douglas would not attend the meeting out of fear of being debarred from Parliament. Mr. Hamilton, who is the Leader of Government Business, said the members of Parliament got notification about the meeting 7 days prior to the National Assembly's sitting. Andre Huey, a pastor, was killed in the wee hours of Saturday morning in a motor vehicle accident in Needsmus along the Island Main Road. Reports reaching SKN Newsline say that Pastor Mark Hodge of Sandy Point was hit by a vehicle along the main road. The driver apparently lost control of the vehicle, veered off the road, and collided into Hodge, who was at the time under the hood checking his car at the side of the road. The accident occurred just outside the Flow Grounds, the venue of a gospel concert, Elevation Fest 2017, which had just ended about an hour earlier. Pastor Hodge was rushed to the JNF hospital and, according to reports, died minutes after 4 a.m. Initial reports suggest that one of his legs was badly damaged prior to his passing. No reports yet on the state of the driver, who was reportedly trapped in his car after the accident. SKN Newsline will continue to monitor this report as it develops. The management and staff of SK Newsline wishes to convey condolences to the family and friends of Pastor Mark Hodge. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're fully covered after an accident. The security of your home and everything in it that means so much to you. And knowing that even when the weather does its worst, you and your family are covered. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
94% of those employed at the newly opened Park Hyatt Resort are nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis, according to Mohamed Asaria, Vice Chairman of the Range Developments and the developers of the resort. At a press conference on Friday at the resort in Banana Bay at Southeast Peninsula, Mr. Asaria said the resort has already contributed significantly to the economy of St. Kitts and Nevis.
This hotel has been some time in the coming, but I will assure you this now, the benefits of this hotel are already being felt throughout the whole economy of St. Kitts and Nevis. That's just not on the 20 acres or the Southeast Peninsula. That benefit is being felt from Charleston through to Basseterre, from Newcastle through to St. Peters. The whole island is beginning to benefit from the economic impact the Park Hyatt is having.
Regarding the staff complement, the resort said it wants to ensure that the workforce remain largely local.
Out of the 320 permanent employees, 94% are from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It would be 94.5% if the Prime Minister considered me a real Kittitian, but we'll see till the end of the afternoon on that one. But I think that's an incredible result, and it hasn't happened by accident. And it's not just the employees, the staff which make the hotel. It's the rest of the opportunities which this hotel provides to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris was full of praises for the resort's management and spoke about how the parties involved, with the help of the government, were able to overcome challenges that threatened the construction and opening of the project. He singled out Mr. Kamal Shehada, Development Director at Range Developments, as one who has particular interest in the development of human resources of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Over those last 3 years of consistent engagement, I've come to admire Shehada and Mohammed. Shehada more so, not because of his experience, but because I found in him an enduring interest in people development. Mohammed was more of the business genius, but I found more, if I would call it, the soul reflected in Kamal's own view about wanting to take the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis to a higher plane.
Meanwhile, Tourism Minister Lindsay Grant assured that the government will do its part to ensure that the resort receives many visitors as the destination thrives to grow its market share. U.S. Ambassador for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean Linda Tagliatella was also at the press conference. The 134-room resort comprises 48 suites, some of which overlook the sister island of Nevis and the vast expanse of the vacation property. Members of the media were given a tour of the resort, which includes a spa, a look at the Nevis Peak suite overlooking Nevis, and other sides of the property. The resort opened earlier this month and the occupancy level is high for the upcoming festive season. Mr. Asari advised the government to capitalize on the marketing possibilities of having 3 top branded resorts in the country, namely the Park Hyatt, the Marriott Resort, and the Four Seasons. He also assured that the resort will be working hand in hand with other sectors of the economy, such as local farmers, to ensure that they benefit from the economic contribution of Park Hyatt. I'm Chantel Rochester for SKN Newsline. 7 ships called on St. Kitts Friday, the most in the history of the island's cruise tourism sector. One of those 7 ships docked off the coast of Carambola Beach Club in Friars Bay at the Southeast Peninsula, with a capacity of 500 passengers. The restaurant was booked for the day by the ship, with its guests patronizing the establishment while relaxing on the beach. Tourism Minister Lindsay Grant was in high spirits Friday as he spoke to members of the media at Carambola Beach Club.
First of all, today is truly a historic day. It's the first time in the history of the cruise industry in St. Kitts and Nevis we're having 7 ships. 7 ships running a total capacity in the region of about 10,000 visitors. That's extremely good for this country. Additionally, it shows what the cruise season 2017-2018, which is just ahead of us, has to offer. It also shows you that in November alone, the month in which we are in, we're going to have 70 calls to port. In December, we're having over 115 calls in port. That translates to a lot. It translates in December alone to something in the region of $30 million pumped into the economy. We are extremely happy for what we're seeing in the cruise industry, but it hasn't come easy.
Mr. Grant said the last cruise tourism season St. Kitts received 5 ships in port. The cruise tourism stakeholders were satisfied with the service the island offered the ships and the tourists, and this now presents more opportunities for St. Kitts for more ships.
Said we'll bring them on, and they're bringing them on because Christmas Day alone, 7 ships, Boxing Day, 7 ships. I don't know how we're going to handle that, in all honesty. We've been speaking to our stakeholders, the police, the army, the medical fraternity, the fire department, the vendors, the purveyors, to make sure everybody is on top of their game on the P's and Q's, because we have to deliver first-class service to our visitors. We want them to leave here knowing that it's not just about the sand, the sea, it's about the beauty too, yes, but it's about our people who can deliver top-class, first-class, first-rate service in a first-line industry.
Mr. Grant said the tourism sector pumps $600 million into the economy. He appealed to residents of St. Kitts and Nevis to take the sector seriously and do the things necessary to offer a first-class visitor experience.
It's our bread and butter. It pumps into the industry this year alone $671 million of economic activity. We can't just pick up that anywhere. And so we're out there week after week in front of the cruise executives telling them that we can deliver, we are going to deliver. And we're not only going to deliver first-class service, we're going to make St. Kitts and Nevis the best stop you have on your itinerary. Right now we're number 3 in spend, $111.08 US dollars per day, each of these visitors. That translates just for November, December and January alone, $200 million in this economy. What does that mean? It means that 1 in 3 households in St. Kitts is touched by the dollars that flows through here. It means that this industry is the number 1 industry in the country.
The Seabourn Odyssey was the ship docked at Carambola. I'm Chantel Rochester for SKN Newsline.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
The official signing for the construction of the second cruise pier took place Wednesday morning at a ceremony at Ocean Terrace Inn in Portlands. The agreement was signed between the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, SCASPA, and the Canadian Commercial Corporation, CCC. CCC is the prime contractor for the construction of the new cruise pier. Minister responsible for SCASPA, Ian Liburd, told the gathering that the project would cost $43.2 million US dollars.
The increase in costs from US $41.7 million in May 17 to $43.2 million today came about over the period of negotiations. This increase reflects the actual costs of the rising prices for steel and the spike in insurance premiums following the 2 Cat 5 hurricanes which we experienced a few months ago.
Mr. Liburd said the new cruise pier will be financed by local entities, namely the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, Social Security, SIDF, and the TDC to the tune of $48 million US dollars.
All local players. Financing in the amount of $48 million US has been secured to cover the construction of the second pier, upland development of Port Zante and Etug. The syndicate players and the contributions are as follows. The St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, US $34 million. Could you give the bank a round of applause? The Social Security Board, US $7 million. The Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation of St. Kitts Nevis,
US $5 million. And the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla Trading and Development Company, we know them as TDC, US $2 million.
In explaining the reason for the delay, Mr. Liebert suggested that the previous company engaged to pursue the project together with SCASPA, J. Cashman Inc., had not fulfilled all their obligations prior to the start of the project. He also suggested that the deal was not in the best interest of the parties involved, particularly SCASPA. The cruise pier will be ready for the 2019 cruise season, the minister said. Meanwhile, Luke Allery, regional director of CCC, said at the signing ceremony that the project should take 18 months for completion.
So this morning we're here to execute the contract for the construction of the second cruise ship pier at Port Santee. We've had, over the last 2 years, developed a very solid and strong partnership with our partners at SCASPA and inside the St. Kitts government. It's been a very dynamic, productive, interesting discussion, but I think you have now the value of that particular contract, and we are now ready to execute that particular undertaking. I think we're going to move very fast. It's an 18-month process, which we hope to execute very shortly, as soon as we can mobilize in the upcoming weeks or months.
Also in attendance at the ceremony was the High Commissioner for Canada to St. Kitts and Nevis, Her Excellency Marie Legault. She said that this new cruise pier will be climate resilient.
With Maria, Dominica lost 225% of its GDP. It's quite massive. I've been there. I've seen that the port facility in Hozo is completely destroyed. I can say with confidence that this would not occur here in St. Kitts and Nevis with the construction of the Port Santee facility, as the Canadian team is assured to build a port and a construction that will be climate resilient. So this will not happen in St. Kitts and Nevis in the future.
The contractors said the project should begin with mobilization by January 2018. The complete 18 months time frame also includes recovery time in the event of hurricanes. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The CONCACAF Caribbean Under-20 Women's Qualifier ended Sunday night at the Warner Park with St. Kitts and Nevis going down to another big scoreline, this time to leaders Jamaica that had already qualified for the next round since Friday. Jamaica thrashed the home side 9-0, 7 of those goals coming in the second half. Shelia Smart got the scoring off in the 8th minute, and 1 minute later Jody Brown found the back of the net effortlessly. In the second half, it was a goal-scoring spree for the Jamaicans, where Marley Frey, who came on in the 50th minute, scored a hat-trick in the 51st, 73rd and 88th minutes of play. Jaden Matthews scored in the 58th minute, Alufaloshede Adumuliken scored a penalty in the 71st minute, and Shelia Smart got on the score sheet again in the 83rd minute. Despite the win, Jamaica's coach Lauren Donaldson said he will be retooling his team for the next round of qualifiers.
The first half wasn't that good, as you can see, but we had a little chat in the locker room. I think we were too relaxed and too complacent in the first half, but we came back out, scored some goals, and overall I thought it was a good performance.
Now, going on to the next round, what are some of the things you think you need to work on to get your team optimal and ready?
Well, we got to get ourselves in a training camp, and we got to add some more players, better players to the group that we have right now. But we have a lot of work to do. We're nowhere close to where I think we can be.
For St. Kitts and Nevis coach Chandra Wilkinson, she credited her team's fighting spirit.
Well, I would say it was a better first half, all right? And they went out that when they started out first, it was a bit scratchy, and then after the 2 goals scored, they got in it and they fought to the end of the first half. When we came back out, it was basically to try and put in more work and then try to get some goals. But the girls, them maybe lack of fitness, that they couldn't really pull through to the end. And goalkeeping was one of the major issues, but nevertheless, the girls would have went out, they fought to the end, so I can't do anything about it.
Coach Wilkinson noted that going forward, the team will have to engage in more practice sessions in order to improve.
We've been started in January, then we had to turn off short for a while, and then after we resumed practice in like September. But because of how the tournament was, it fall in November during school time, and most of the times then when we get one set, then we won't get another set. We get a different set on a different day. So it all boils down to practice. If these girls had been practicing for a longer period of time and then come to this tournament, with the results that we got, it would have been much, much, much better.
In the first match of the doubleheader, Haiti booked their spot in the next round along with Jamaica after claiming the scalp of their neighbors, the Dominican Republic, 4-1 in a must-win game. Nerila Mondesiro of Haiti scored the first goal of the match in the 40th minute when it seemed like the half would have ended 0-0. But that lead was short-lived after Alisa Jasmine made an extraordinary individual effort, beating two defenders and slotting the ball in the back of the net. In the end, however, the deft play of Haiti and their fitness levels were too much for their opponents. Daniel Etienne scored twice in the 60th and 81st minutes, and Melchi Dumonet in the 90th minute. Coach Charles Frioda noted that now that they have qualified for the next round, they have much work to do.
I think this game was very important for us because we had to win, and we gave our best, and our player played well. So we know that we are not perfect. We have many things to fix for the third round. So I'm glad for that.
Jamaica ended the qualifiers on maximum points, Haiti on 6 and the Dominican Republic on 3. St. Kitts and Nevis is at the bottom of the table without a point or a goal. Now that the qualifiers are over, attentions will now turn to the St. Kitts Nevis senior men's team versus their counterparts from Grenada, which happens this Saturday at 8 p.m.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're fully covered after an accident. The security of your home and everything in it that means so much to you. And knowing that even when the weather does its worst, you and your family are covered. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Police are investigating a fire that damaged a section of the constituency number 3 office of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party on November 27th. According to police, at around 2:35 a.m., they received a report of fire at Haynes Smith Village. They responded, and upon arrival, officers from the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services were already at the scene extinguishing flames from the northeastern corner of the Labour Party constituency office, which is a wooden structure. The office is used by the constituency representative, Conris Maynard. The fire was reported by a member of the community who observed smoke coming from a window on the eastern side of the office. Information received so far indicate that the building was last opened sometime in the afternoon on Friday, November 24th, 2017, and had been closed since. Officers from the Basse-Terre Fire Unit forced their way into the northern door of the building in order to extinguish some of the flames to assess the damages. The inside portion, where majority of the smoke emanated, was damaged severely. Several red T-shirts were damaged, and 2 air-conditioned units and 2 eastern glass windows also damaged. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. MP Conris Maynard, in a statement, said an initial assessment of the building on the eastern side of the constituency office, where the meeting hall is located, suffered a significant amount of fire damage. Contents in that area have also been significantly damaged, he said. The office section of the building has escaped any major damage and should be usable in the upcoming days for continued meetings with his constituents. He was thankful there were no injuries to anyone and thanked surrounding neighbors for their vigilance in alerting him and the fire department of the fire. He also thanked the fire department for their quick response. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Why read the news when you can watch it? Introducing SKN Newsline, the Federation's only online TV news platform. SKN Newsline is an online TV news platform covering news in St. Kitts and Nevis. You can watch SKN Newsline on our website, www.sknnewsline.com, or Facebook page at www.fb.com/SKN Newsline. SKN Newsline, your world, your news.
And our first ever primary school choir competition champion. First ever champion. Congratulations.
With 540 points, the Tucker Clark Primary School in Newtown won the inaugural primary school's song competition held at the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium.
And the runner-up school this evening, amassing a total of 473 points, is the Bronte Welsh runner-up position with a total of 522 points, the Dr. William.
Natasha Williams is the choir director of the Tucker Clark Primary School.
Well, it was very important for us to instill one important factor, and that was discipline, which went along when we started actually beginning our practice the first day we got the letter. So you can say we've been practicing before September, and as you can see, it paid off.
How does it feel to finally come out winning the first competition?
We're really elated, we're excited, we hope that we can hold the trophy for a long time. I mean, we're just overall excited. I'm speechless. It's exciting.
The competition, organized under the auspices of the Ministry of Education and the Music Lovers Association, featured primary schools. Each school performed two sections, the first being the song Our Beautiful Country, written by Lady Huldah Lawrence, in a cappella, and a second selection of their choice with either music or in a cappella. The second song had to be no longer than 3 minutes.
Be ashamed, let not my enemies triumph over me. And the best, the love that never falters, the love that lives over the rainbow, dreams come true. Anti-human race, there are people dying if you care enough of living.
Reporting from the Cecil Jacobs Auditorium at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long, but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Civil servants will be paid a double salary this Christmas. The federal government, through the Prime Minister's press secretary, Valencia Grant, made this announcement on Thursday night.
The cabinet took a decision to approve the payment of a double salary for the second consecutive year. Recipients of this extra salary are encouraged to spend their money wisely. Those who still have repairs to make to their homes are encouraged to take advantage of the duty-free concessions being offered by the government. The bonus payment is indeed expected to bring cheer to all families in St. Kitts and Nevis and can be considered as the government's Christmas gift to our hardworking and deserving citizens.
The government gave a reason for its decision.
Cabinet today deliberated at length over the matter of a Christmas bonus to be paid to all civil servants of the Federal and Nevis Island Administration, pensioners, government auxiliary employees, GAEs, skills training and empowerment programs, STEP employees, and workers at all statutory corporations. Cabinet took account of the many challenges still being experienced by several households post-Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and of the government's continuing efforts to bring relief to persons. The fiscal performance of the federal government was also taken into consideration. Up to September of this year, the fiscal accounts reflected a surplus on the recurrent account, the overall account, and the primary account. All economic indicators also point to robust growth for 2018. Several capital projects are expected to come on stream, and various private developments are anticipated.
There was much talk in the political sphere on whether or not government would have paid the double salary which was paid last year. This trend started with the previous Labour Party administration before they were voted out of office. Some pundits felt that if the current government had not continued this trend, this would harm them politically. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris had promised in his press conference Wednesday to give an answer on whether a double salary would have been paid after meeting with Cabinet on Thursday. Andre Huey, SKN News.